In a world teeming with supernatural claims, from aliens and ghosts to cryptids, religions, and other unexplained phenomena, enter Captive Desk, that offers a skeptic's perspective. Join us for engaging discussions, opinions, scientific analysis, and a dash of humor as we delve into the unknown, unravel the mysterious, and confront the otherworldly as we seek to distinguish fact from fiction at the Captive Desk.
Hey.
Hello, greetings, welcome to the Captive Desk, and greetings to Mike from Answers in Atheism. Hello, Mike.
Yep. Hi.
And hello, everybody. We got Godseed joining us, and look at the trees. How you doing, trees? Again, congratulations on hitting 400 subscribers, and if you're not subscribed to Look at the Trees, you should be. Take care of that. And hello, Rex. How you doing? And of course, Jess. Always good to see you, Jess. Hello. Yeah, we've got some good news, as it were, to talk about today.
Yeah.
And we take what we can get in this day, right?
I don't think it's good news. I think it's like the Hydra, where you chop a head off and you end it.
Yeah,
It isn't the Hydra that does that?
Trying to be optimistic here.
Yeah.
So Dr. Joel had a video out last night, I believe it was. And I went looking, and it seems like a day before that, there was a video up. And it was on this, Vision Christian Media channel, which is like a radio show, podcast type thing. They have call-ins and everything. And they've had Ken Ham and Martyn Iles on before. And they had a thing out 2 days ago. And Mike also went looking and found an article. And it seems that Answers in Genesis is no longer the answer for Martyn Iles. Martyn Iles, the former managing director at the Australian Christian Lobby, we'll talk about that in a minute, has left Answers in Genesis, the U.S.-based creationist ministry he joined after leaving ACL. After 6 weeks of social media silence, he has announced he is in transition. All right. So, hello, Ape. Hello, James. Good to see you. Now, and speaking of, there is James. Hello.
Hey there, guys.
There's not a lot of good news that you hear in the media these days. And here at the Captive Desk, and I'm sure you folks would agree that, we take what we can get, right? Now, a little bit about Martyn Iles. He's awful. Okay? He's awful. He's a attorney, and he's all the things that makes attorneys bad or gives them a bad name. That's Martyn Iles, all right? Martyn Iles goes back to, and he was this co-founder, whatever, member of the Human Rights Law Alliance. And this was an Australian firm dedicated to assisting people requiring legal support in the areas of freedom of religion. which we fully support. This is in Australia. Of course, if somebody's being persecuted or something, we are not for that at all. Not in any way, shape, or form. Uh, in the United States, here we have freedom of religion, right? And here at the captive desk, we support that. You want to have your religion, you go right ahead, right? As long as you're not bothering anybody else, we do not care, right? We are not against the freedoms we all share. For the same reason, I don't want to be told that I can't hail Bigfoot, right? Now, he made a name for himself with this Israel Folau. Now, if you don't remember, Israel Folau's a football player, I believe, or something, some kind of an athlete. Not our kind of football. I believe it's the other football.
The wrong
Anyway,
kind.
something like that. Yeah, he played a sport, anyways. And they were showing support for the LGBTQ crowd, right? Because they have fans in the stands, right? And like any of the big sports leagues and everything, of course, they're all about inclusivity and everything. And apparently they had like some kind of patch to wear on the uniform or some kind of. And he made a big stink about it and put out tweets about people going to hell. And he wasn't just picking on them, he was picking on everybody. He was hellfire from the Bible, not just gay folks and everything like that, but everybody. He was going off on everybody. Well, the league came down on him because they do have a policy, a social media policy, as a lot of folks do in their contracts these days, right? Read your fine print, right? You got to watch what you say because you represent the company, right? And that applies to a lot of places. If you work someplace and you're going home every day and bad mouthing the company on social media, they have a right to terminate you, right? It's in the fine print. You're not supposed to badmouth who you work for at most places, especially big name companies, right? So this went on, and it wasn't. They didn't rain down on him, and it wasn't mandatory or any of these things like that. You don't want to wear the patch, whatever. Fine, you know what I mean. The thing was he persisted with it after he had been told. Now, his story is, and when Martyn Iles stepped in and was representing him, was that, crying foul, religious discrimination, all this kind of things. And again, he has the right to believe what he wants. He has the right to post things, even the nasty, mean-spirited things he posted. However, he doesn't have the right to do it and remain on the payroll for the sports league, okay? And that's where they often do not understand the difference, right? So he made a big stink, basically, ended up getting booted from the league and everything. And then Martyn Iles stepped in, represented him. They made a big stink everywhere. Eventually, he didn't get back in the league. He's somewhere else. I think maybe another country now or something. I don't know. Anyway, so that's kind of his. He made a big name for himself doing this, and he's also a young Earth creationist. And after this, things didn't really seem to be going well for their law firm that they had, right? So there was a parting of ways, and Martyn Iles ended up leaving this firm and starting his own. Now, through this whole thing, I'm an Australian through and through. I love my country and all this. And lo and behold, his law firm wasn't doing very well. So all of a sudden, he moves to the United States and he gets hired by Ken Ham as basically his number two. And Ken Ham basically was speaking about, he's getting up there in age. I think he's 73, something like that. retirement age. You don't see Ken doing as much. Obviously, like anybody, probably wants to spend time with his grandkids and all that kind of stuff. Whatever. And the inevitability of age and somebody needing to take over. So they brought in Martyn Iles as number 2. Now, they also skipped a lot of people. There's been a lot of people that have worked for him for a long time, and they all seem to have gotten skipped.
Bodie
got skipped, the son-in-law. You would figure he would have been in line. He's younger. He's been around forever. He's family, right? There's a lot of family that works there.
Yeah.
Bodie got skipped, and Bodie hasn't been around too much lately either.
Yeah. All of the women on the AIG show got skipped. All of them. Yeah. Just saying.
Well, that doesn't Bodie very well, does it?
Doesn't Bodie very well. No.
Hey, Joe. How you doing?
What's up, guys?
Hey there, Joe.
Just spreading the good word. Like I said, here at the Captive Desk and all of everybody here, of course, we support the LGBTQ community, excuse me, and we have no tolerance for the bigotry. We have no tolerance for it when it comes to our chats and all that. Also, though, Mike and I were speaking earlier, we do like to speak out. There is a lot of folks in the community that speak out a lot and kind of dropping the hint, that we need to speak out more. And so we do. We support everybody, right? Everything. Everybody is loved here, right? But it's often difficult for us folks that are not in the community to speak about these things, right? And it goes for folks in other communities as well, right? I can only speak from my point of view. So, when folks are speaking about this, like over at the Transpositions and all these great shows, I'm listening, okay? I don't have a lot to say. I'm not in that community. But we do make the stand. We fully support the community here at the Captive Desk, and I'm sure everybody here does as well, okay? So, for what it is, Martyn Iles is out, okay? And he is a horrible bigot. He's you see a lot of his videos, there's often a LGBTQ flag in the background, right? Terrible person. And AIG is no better. But AIG has a lot of money. Martyn Iles doesn't. So he says he's going off to do his own thing. Hopefully wherever he's going doesn't have the purse strings that Ken Ham has. And for what it is, let's take a small victory that this guy let the door hit him on his way out. Okay?
Yeah, hopefully his new thing doesn't work, because here is his new thing. He wants to entertain and educate children. And there's a little article about what he intends to do here. Martyn Iles on his ministry plans to revolutionize Christian education. And of course, he's, going to try to push a bunch of bullshit. What does it say here?
Well, that's why they wanted him out then.
Because he wanted to change stuff?
No, because he's competing with them.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, we have to deal with the negative reality to start with, which is that the government is going to change legislation in such a way that Christian schools are not going to be able to teach Christian ethics. I don't think that's the case. They're not going to be able to teach intelligent design, but yeah, what the hell?
Christian ethic. Why can't it just be ethics?
Yeah.
Check your Discord there, Simos. See that should work there.
Yeah, I gotta expand this one a little bit. Okay, I'll give a link to this article too that I found about his revolutionary new plans to basically teach children pseudoscience. That's what he wants to do. And he wants to do it with a flair. I'm guessing what he means by technologically advanced. That they're going to use a lot of animation and other stuff. Let me see here. Plus. Let's see. I think I made it 2 plus. 2 plus.
Now of course, AIG is still a horrible, bigoted organization. Part of the reason that Joe at the Kentucky Atheist is setting up a protest against this place because amongst all their other stuff, they push horrible ideologies onto children and adults. And, Joe and I have a saying about Ken Ham, don't we, Joe?
Yeah, fuck Ken Ham.
Fuck Ken Ham.
Yeah. Yep.
So this, of course, does not say that, Ken Ham is going away or the folks like him. But he was given... he had given $100 million budget to Martyn Iles to push a lot of this horrible ideology on children. And if you follow anything about Ken Ham, he had just recently bought a new building from Toyota, I believe it was. And part of that building is putting in a new media center to produce media targeting children. And supposedly Martyn Iles was going to do all this. And it was worrisome because he is horrible and he is a slick talker. He's he's everything that gives a lawyers bad names, right? There's nothing nice about the guy. He's arrogant. He's pompous. He's snotty. He's condescending. He's hellfire. He's just awful. He's all the things that are awful, and everything that gives religious people, in my opinion, bad names, and why a lot of people are walking away from religions, is these awful people standing up there just saying awful things.
So it's interesting. So he's going to build his own ark, but it's going to be a different kind of ark. It's going to be a metaphorical ark. We're building Noah's ark, Noah's educational ark. We're saying get out of the waters of the woke. Get out of these broken schools. If God can do it here in the Pacific Northwest, then he can do it anywhere, proclaimed Heidi St. John. Anyway, to hear more about the interview with Answers in Genesis, click on the link below. We got a link. Oh, yeah, that's that 2020 thing that you posted, I think, or you put in the description, did you? The 2020 video? Yeah.
I have Joel Duff's link in the description, but I also have
2020 with Neil Johnson. Oh, let me see. I'll post that too.
So in some ways, I think it's a good analogy because if you're going to share an ark with a bunch of Christians, man, that shit is just going to pile up day after day.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah. All right. This is the this is the Facebook. Hold on a second here.
What does it say? Some have noticed that I've been quiet because I got fired. I got into a fight with Ken Ham about some goddamn thing. Maybe maybe about this Christian education thing for the young.
It's a little small. I'll read it out. It's Martyn Iles. This was Wednesday, March 19. This was yesterday. Some have noticed I've been quiet for a while. It's because I am in a transition to something new. In conjunction with some wise counsel and Christian colleagues, we are in the process of prayerfully discerning what's next now that I am no longer at Answers in Genesis. We do have a fantastic project which appears to be coming together well, ... But we are just taking it a day at a time. Yeah, okay. So it's kind of up in the air. Time to confirm that it is of God and we're meant to do it. There is plenty going on behind the scenes. I am in the USA talking to donors, partners, and yeah, he's trying to scare up money. So he
Scare
doesn't
up
have
money,
a deal
yeah.
set. But he's going back to Australia for Easter. Maybe he'll stay. The all the folks worried about these illegals running in and out.
Yeah, we got to seek.
Just saying,
We got to seek the ice on him.
just saying. Maybe check the papers, right?
Yeah, check the papers.
So I have some thoughts on this.
Go ahead.
It looks to me like, I mean, he's saying, I'm going to go do all these things that Ken Ham is already doing.
Yeah.
And you know, being CEO of AIG, sure, they have, you know, a lot of stuff on the internet and their website and all that, but the big money hog of AIG is that
School.
art.
Yeah.
And
No, the homeschooling is a big one too.
Yeah.
They supply
Well,
like 80% of the homeschooling educational materials for homeschooling in the world. And they make a lot of money on that.
well, most of their money is sunk in the ark, though. And so he's going to go and do the same thing that Ken Ham was going to do to get stupid rich. Because the ark doesn't. They're making money on the ark, but not crazy money or nothing. So he's doing the same thing that Ken Ham's doing, only without the headache of the overhead of the Ark and Creation Museum and everything else associated with Ken Ham.
Yeah.
I really like that pun, Joe. Most of their money is sunk in the ark.
Yeah.
That's very clever.
Fun.
I like that a lot.
Clever. Yeah.
And Dr. Joel has covered before. There's a lot of money that rolls in through there too. Every time Ken Ham needs to do something, he fundraises a lot of money, and it seems quite easily. So, once again, hello, Halsey. How you doing?
One of the things, as I was listening to your intro, Dave, one of the sort of tangents, I should say, that occurred to me when you were saying that he felt persecuted because he had to wear a label or something like that, or a badge, and then he wouldn't let it go and all of this. I just thought it must be very difficult for Christians. I mean, it must be very, very difficult because they want to emulate their great prophet, Jesus, of course, walk in the footsteps of Jesus, which probably means that they have to be the perfect victim.
Oh yeah.
Nobody has ever been persecuted like Jesus, according to the Christians. So I guess they just go around looking for persecution. That must be pretty much their whole existence. Another hypocrisy in the theology of Christianity.
So AIG took in about 62 million in revenue. They had 60 million in expenses, though. So they managed to pay it out, and they have 110 million in assets. Basically, is what they're reporting. So, and less than 10 million in liabilities. So they're worth about $100 million. So,
how much of that went on hookers, though?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like the Minnesota senator that just got nailed in my town, right down the street from me. He got arrested for soliciting sex from a 17-year-old girl.
Wow.
And he's the one that sponsored the bill that wanted to make what is it? Trump? What the hell? Trump? What is it called? Trump delusion?
Trump derangement syndrome.
He wanted to make it a recognized medical disease, I guess. He had a bill. Anyway, he's getting bounced out of the Senate here in Minnesota.
Good.
For prostitution, soliciting a young girl for prostitution, because he said, he didn't. The age of consent is 16 in Minnesota, so he thought it was legal to solicit sex from a 17-year-old, which is a a bigger crime on its own. If you try to
Right.
pay a minor for sex, right? He didn't know that. Anyway,
So I thought I'd just real quick for folks that don't know. I got a couple little video clips here, and we'll just show you
okay.
real quick. And once again, we're kind of celebrating a small victory here that Martyn Iles is out from being the basically number 2, next to step in line if Ken Ham should retire, or you know whatever, is out, and along with that, a $100 million annual budget gone. So Martyn Iles is not the first time that he's gone from doing well to making it all go bad. So,
Yeah.
and Ken Ham doesn't have a large turnover rate. So my suspicions are leaning towards that Martyn Iles is not easy to work with.
Yeah.
So,
But
but
I'm afraid of whack-a-mole. His head will pop up somewhere else.
But here's back when he first came in. We'll take a look real quick. This is no big deal. We're not going to spend a lot of time on watching it or anything like that. Just so you know a little bit here.
I'm CEO of Answers in Genesis, Creation Museum, and the Ark Encounter, and we have a very special announcement for you. Now, before we get to that announcement, I want to introduce to you Martyn Iles from Australia.
From Australia, yes.
So am I, originally from Australia.
Oh, of course.
And
He loves that. He just loves it. I'm from Australia. Did I tell you I'm from Australia? Did you know
Immigrants.
my accent?
Did the accent give it away?
Yeah. And I understand he's trying to play it up to the audience and everything. However, Ken Ham is a terrible speaker. Okay? He really is.
Yeah.
He just all the way around, he doesn't have the other than he can do a preacher style thing or whatever, but he's not a great speaker. However, Martyn Iles is, all right. He is a great speaker. He talks well. He's very slick.
He may be a great speaker, but he's a terrible dresser.
Yeah.
I mean, really, does that handkerchief go with the waistcoat? I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
He has a lot of outfits that remind me of Calvin from Answers in Canada.
I gotta hand it to these Australians, though. The people from South America, all they got to do is wade across the Rio Grande. These guys got to swim across the Pacific Ocean. It would be illegal immigrants.
The great white sharks and then dang jellyfish and everything out there. Yeah.
Yep.
And if you notice, of course, they're at the Ark Park, which Joe is planning on protesting this year, and you can see the abomination in the background there. That's $100 million for a mock-up of a wooden boat building.
Yeah.
There you go.
And Martyn, actually, I had a pastor friend in Australia who said, you have been a leading Christian voice in Australia for the past few years. In fact, conducted meetings with large numbers of people dealing with the social issues of the day, the state of the church, where the culture is at, where people...
Yeah. Ken Ham is praising his supposed zero compromise stance. He's very big on doing videos that a school was accommodating a gay student or something, or and it was nothing, but he would make a big stink about it. He also, since he's been with Answers in Genesis, they have a channel that they started that's also called Zero Compromise. They've got 4,000 subscribers over there, and a bunch of the videos are talking to their own selves over there at Answers in Genesis. But his stance is that zero compromise, so to speak, that they're not gonna give people shouldn't have rights. And he also is very big on not celebrating I forget what it's called, but they have a saying for it, basically celebrating indigenous folks, right? And he doesn't believe they should participate in that either, even though he's living in their country, right? Because it's some kind of demon thing or something. So he's just awful even about the indigenous folks in Australia.
Well, you could see that with Australians, right? They've been so kind to their indigenous people in Australia.
Well, there's the guy right there with the horrible suit.
People are at, and I've followed those meetings and followed what you've done over there. You also are an attorney or lawyer.
Lawyer, that's right.
Lawyer.
Australians call it lawyer, so that's what it's called.
And you started a Christian legal firm in Australia?
Yes, correct. To defend people with religious freedom cases, so people who get in trouble with the law for living out their faith in some way. And that firm continues to this day.
Well,
yeah, notice people that are getting in legal trouble for living out their faith, right? That's fancy wording for people that were breaking the law and thinking they could get away with it because they're saying, but it's my religion.
Right. People who were hurting. What's that?
I said acting a fool for Jesus.
Yeah. People that were hurting other people in the name of God is what they're really saying.
Yeah. So they're now again, people's rights are being violated. By all means, that's wrong. Okay. But it seems that the other folks at the law firm were not so keen on Martyn Iles' more extremist cases, right? Giving the law firm a bad name. All right. So to the other partners, maybe they're okay. All right. And I'm not going to say anything about them. They did part ways with Martyn Iles, though, because he was bringing a lot of bad press to him because he was taking on these controversial cases, not what I would say, folks that had, legitimate beefs. This Israel and that's what Ken Ham's talking about. He was everywhere on the news, on the talk shows, everything was with this Israel guy, right? And that's what Ken Ham's smiling and all happy about, is that this guy wanted to violate the contract that he was being paid a lot of money to play on a sports team. And as a lot of big businesses are, they are inclusive to all the customers, okay? And he wants to do as he pleases in violation of the contract he signed and had repeated warnings about, right? To just do as he pleases. Now, again, you can do as you please. You can, like we're doing right now, okay? We're talking about these two bags of trash right here. And speaking of bags of trash, Grayson does his trash talk on Saturdays. Grayson has a hobby where he goes out and picks up trash, right? And he was doing a fundraiser for a museum as well. And so I donated. And when you donate, you get to name one of the bags of trash, right? So I named the bag of trash Ken Ham. So one of Grayson's trash bags went to the proper facilities to be disposed of, named Ken Ham. So there you go. And the money went to the museum, good cause and everything. So good job, Grayson, and everything. And it was a lot of fun. And Ken Ham, take that, all right?
we have organizations like that in America too. It seems like this is a national problem and an international problem.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's getting much more difficult for Christians to live out their faith, especially in the public squares. And I think a lot of people who support Answers in Genesis, a lot of Christians across the Western world are experiencing that pressure on speech and conduct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very difficult. Very difficult.
Yeah, it's so rough, isn't it, Simon?
Yeah. I mean, it's similar to getting nailed to a piece of wood.
Yeah.
It sure is.
Oh, they have a tough time worshiping, like On Sunday morning, the streets here are lined with cars parked outside churches, and those poor people, they have to run in, for fear of their lives, right, to run into church.
Yeah, I know.
They
church
just
on
want to
every
live
block.
out their faith.
Well, Joe's in an area where he's got a church on every corner.
Damn
and
right.
I'm not, rural or anything. I'm in the city or whatever. Two churches within a couple hundred yards of my house up on the corner, right? They're so persecuted, right?
Well, that's the
Totally.
thing here. It's like a running joke in my town where everybody's like, "Oh, look, they're building something. It's probably a new church." Like it's laughable because there's nothing else here but churches and gas stations and fast food restaurants. That's it.
Yeah. And and we have a lot of fun with some of the religious beliefs around here. But of course, once again, though, we fully support your right to have your religious beliefs. It's a founding thing in this country, and what we have to say about religion and everything aside, we support the Constitution here. And Australia, I believe, has something similar. Yeah, no problem. But that's not what they want. They want to break the law or violate someone's rights or not follow a contract they're getting paid a lot of money for, and just do as they please. And
They want access to your children in schools so they can preach their little bit to all your kids.
Well,
that's what they want.
Yeah, you know what Dave just said something important though about criticizing Christians' beliefs. The misconception about atheists is that we give a shit that anyone believes whatever they believe, and most of us really don't. It's the awful things they use that belief to do to other people. That's
Right.
the problem.
Yeah, like stick their nose in church in schools, and try to rewrite science basically, and try to and stick their nose in the media and try to persuade people that their science is true, their pseudoscience is truer than real science. That's my ditch.
That's why I pointed out one of the other things he was sticking his nose in was there was a school in Australia there somewhere, and they had a LGBTQ student or teacher, or I'm pretty sure it was a student, that they accommodated for something. I don't even remember exactly what it was, but it was a non-issue. Okay, the school took care of it. Nobody had a problem with it, right? It's Martyn Iles has a problem with it. Oh, look what they're doing, right? This and that, bringing this into the schools or something. It was a non-issue. The kids didn't have a problem. The teachers didn't have a problem. The administration didn't have a problem. They took care of it. Everything was fine. He's the one stirring up trouble over at what it was a non-issue, right? These are things that the same folks will say, leave it to the locals, like with our orange guy talking about take education back down to the states, the local folks and everything and stuff. But when the locals handle something like they did, there was no problem at all. There he is stirring up trouble.
Yeah.
So anyway, Ken Ham was all appraise, and if you want to know, once again, I got another one here.
And Ken was on the program. He talked about the story of Andrew Thorburn, who is the Australian Football Club CEO, who was forced to resign simply for being a Christian who lives with biblical values.
Simply.
That's the one you mentioned, Dave?
Simply.
This is related to it, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Simply for being a Christian.
Yeah, and if you don't know who this guy's Tony Perkins. And he's awful. Okay? He might as well be one of these nationalists, right? Hates all the right people, so to speak, right? This guy's awful. So he's at If you don't notice, he's at Ken Ham's place. They're out the window there. There's the zip lines. Are you going to go zip lining, Joe?
Oh yeah.
I don't think the zip lines are made for morbidly
Atheists?
obese people.
They're not made for atheists though.
Yeah, well, that
Or
too.
atheists. Yeah. They give you the weak one.
Yeah.
If
Now, this is a huge.
if they're only for believers, I wonder if there's even actually a zip line there, or if the people just kind
Yeah.
of fly down on faith-based zip lines.
Yeah.
Story in Australia, and it illustrates some of the disturbing trends we've seen in the U.S. as well. Joining me now to discuss this and more is Martyn Iles. He is the managing director of the Australian Christian Lobby, and he was one of the speakers here at the conference this week. Martyn, welcome to Washington Watch.
Tony, it's an absolute pleasure.
So,
Okay,
I want to.
stop.
Yeah. There it
Red
is.
shirt with a green tie. Really? Really? Sorry, carry on.
No, he's a terrible dresser.
Yeah,
Slick talker, though. And
He is.
once again, yeah, there they are at the Ark Park. You see the abomination in the background there.
Talk about what's going on down under,
Yes.
and there's some parallels between what we see here in America. I want to. This is a big story about this CEO. Tell us a little bit about the history of this.
Well, this is a gentleman by the name of Andrew Thorburn, and he was appointed the CEO of an Australian rules football club. So we have our own code of footy, as we call it in Australia, Australian rules. And
Is this football? This is soccer? Or is this?
No, it's football.
It's
with
actually
The
football.
oblong balls, yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
all right, all right.
It's
Just
a
want to
code
make
of-
sure we're talking the same thing.
Yep,
Okay,
exactly.
all
And we
right.
call that footy in Australia. That's
Okay.
that's the term that we.
Okay, so it's footy.
Yeah, it's a violent game. Oh my god.
Is this
Is
like
that
rugby?
like
Is this like
rugby?
rugby?
It's worse than rugby.
Oh, okay.
Use. We can say football for the soccer variety, but footy is what it's about. But he was appointed CEO of this football club called Essendon. That's the team. And what happened was that the media broke a story pretty shortly thereafter that this guy was also a board member of a church in the city of Melbourne.
Oh my god.
It's a very mainstream
It was a
church. It's an evangelical church.
Well,
There's
I think
nothing
he should be
remarkable
sacked
about it. Actually, it's
just
quite
for being in a
youthful and it's
church.
quite a well-regarded church in Christian circles.
Yeah.
And simply for being a board member of that church,
That was the reason.
and simply because that church had a sermon online from 9 years ago, where in a very decent and balanced and ordinary and
Yeah.
expected way for a Christian
Yeah.
church, dealt with the subject of human sexuality.
Yeah.
Bad. Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, yes. So he was related to something nasty that they posted.
He meant to
kind of
say on the board
sexuality?
of a bigot church.
Yeah.
What kind of
In a very
sexuality
natural
are they?
way- Yeah, in a very natural way, he called for the death of stoning, I should say, of some particular group
Yeah,
of marginalized people in society.
with hug and a kiss, you know.
Yeah. With forgiveness, obviously,
Yeah.
in their hearts.
You mean they preach the Bible?
Well, exactly. They preach the Bible.
Oh, they preach the Bible.
Well, I thought. That is exactly what I thought. Stone the Bible.
Simos, you nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were just preaching the Bible. Now, of course, when we point out some of the things in the Bible that believers don't like hearing,
Yeah.
and we say, well, it's from the Bible. Well, you're being mean, and, listen, it's like, oh, wait a minute. There's a lot of things in that book, right? And targeting people with an old book is pretty awful, and that's what these two specialize in.
Unbelievable.
Well, this is a controversial.
But when he says controversial, I'm pretty sure they also have hate speech laws in Australia as well.
Yes.
What's
So
what's
that's
the
what
air
that's
quote?
what they're talking about.
Why are we putting controversial in air quotes? It was controversial.
Yeah. It's air quotes from an attorney in a bad suit with red flags just all over the place, right? That's what they are.
Religious group. It was just nothing more than a standard church to believe the Bible.
To make sure I'm clear here. So Andrew was just a member of that church on the board.
Yes, correct.
Therefore, that is what brought this to the level that he had to be forced out.
Correct. He said nothing. There was nothing that he said. There was nothing that he did. It was just the fact that he was on the board of a standard evangelical church in the city.
Standard.
I looked this up. I did look this up, and there's a lot more to it. It's yeah.
Look, Dave. All he's saying is we should be able to throw rocks at these people, and that's what they're trying to argue here. Is like, I don't know why everybody got so upset about stoning, the people that are different than me, because the Bible, they throw rocks at people all the time in the Bible.
Yep.
Like that's
standard,
the excuse they're using.
Standard Christian hate speech. It's been allowed for 2,000 years. We don't understand why we can't have hate speech these days. Even though there's a law against it.
Yeah. And, AR, we're calling them out here today. Both of these are awful people. And they do a lot of harm to a lot of folks, not just in the LGBTQ community, but, they harm women, children, other minority groups. They don't like anybody. They think they are, this Christian nationalist, whatever you want to call it, ideology. They've got it all figured out, and they want it in our laws too. And what's up, Austin?
Hey, everybody. Hey, Dave. Hey, Mike. Hey, Joe. Hey, Simos.
Hello.
Who did I miss? James. Hey, James. How's everybody doing?
Good.
I've got some sirens out here. Forgive me.
They're coming to get you, Dave.
Something big's going on.
Call 911 and tell them you're recording to turn them off.
Well, good and bad both. We've got a large fire and rescue department, like not far away, right? Literally across the street over here. So for what it's worth, it's close, but it also means I have to hear it every time they take off.
So, Dave, did you apply for citizenship in the United States?
No.
Yeah, you're in trouble. Because I didn't apply either.
Yeah.
All right, I want to play a clip of Sky News Australian host Chris Kinney making comments about this. This was from yesterday from Sky News Australia. Play clip number 9.
Thorburn was forced to quit the job because he is a Christian.
No, it's not.
Well, Sky News said he was.
Yeah. But this is again, they got to be persecuted. It was because he was a Christian.
Yeah.
No. And again, these things, once again, you have to read the fine print. It doesn't matter what job you have, what contract, whatever, especially when you're talking with large money for big companies, there's probably something in there that says you got to watch your mouth on social media.
Yeah. He was a standard Christian. I'm sure there's certain aspects of the Westboro Baptist Church that could be described as standard, but
Westboro has the right to do what they do, right?
Yeah, obviously.
They can go out and protest and hold their signs, right? This is America, right?
Yeah.
But are they, what you want to represent your religion? Well, it seems that the 3 or 4 members of the Westboro Baptist Church do not have a large congregation. So a lot of people speak with their conscience and say, no, we don't want to be any part of that.
They are a hate group, though, the Westboro Baptist
absolutely.
Church.
Oh, yeah, you have the right to be an asshole. They kind of abuse the privilege, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, of course, Ken Ham's notorious for wanting to be a jerk and then saying, wait a minute, you can't call me a jerk. It's like, no, it goes both ways. You have the right to be a jerk, and people have the right to call you out when you're being a jerk.
Yeah, I
Does he
mean, to
belong-
be fair, he's an uncontroversial jerk.
Yeah.
belongs to a church that opposes abortion on demand and believes homosexuality is a sin. Agree or not, these are religious and moral teachings shared by billions of people across various faiths around the world.
Yeah,
And there's
citation
not.
needed.
Well, once again, though, your beliefs do not mean that a company has to pay you a lot of money, right? It doesn't mean a company has to pay you just a little bit of money to employ you, okay? They're missing the point here. You have, in this country, you have the right to say what you want in the public square, so to speak. However, that doesn't mean, let's say you're in the military, that you can run your mouth at the drill sergeant, right? It doesn't work that way, okay? It doesn't mean when you're at work that you can tell the boss, screw off or whatever, right? And they have to take it. No. When you're in school, it means, there's certain things where, so to speak, you're losing certain rights where you're supposed to sit down and shut up. You're at school, right? You can protest outside, but not in the classroom. And what do they promote, especially the creationists? Stand up and disrupt the teacher in the classroom, right?
Stand up to your godless, satanic, evolutionist Greek teacher. Evolution is an evil, dumb religion, Hovind.
Yeah. So they don't want it to, in the public square where they have every right to do it, and they have every right to do it on their channels. They have huge budgets to do it. Look at the video quality here. Good quality video.
So yeah, like censorship, that is a very real problem. But it's hilarious to me that wealthy, white, heterosexual, male Christian conservatives complain about it more than anybody else, and they are probably the ones affected by it the absolute least. Like, yes, censorship issues are very real, but I think this is white male conservative Christian heterosexual, wealthy, those people, their censorship issues are so far down on my list of who is really getting harmed by censorship. Let's talk about Puerto Rico not having representation, even though they are effectively, they should be a part of the United States, but they get zero representation and all of the exploitation that a state would get without any of the, positive aspects of it. That is the kind of censorship that I think is an actual problem that's actually hurting people. A company deciding to part ways with you because you're an asshole and it's harming their brand, so far down on my list of negative aspects of censorship, causing problems.
Right.
He
was asked to resign because of a conflict of interest, because it considers itself a safe, diverse, inclusive club.
Yeah.
And his church did not stand for any of that shit. So they asked him to resign due to a conflict of interest, which is fine. And he resigned. So.
And these are the same groups that have problems over beer cans or M&Ms or any of these other non-issues, just because they don't realize that companies sell beer and candy and movies and everything to a large audience. It doesn't always include you, but they try to include everybody because everybody has money they hope they will spend on their product. And then pro-capitalism, right? These folks are all about pro-capitalism on the right. That is your pro-capitalism.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden it's a problem, right? Yeah. Go ahead, Joe.
Let's put this scene in context a little bit here. You have these two white Christian fellas sitting in front of a taxpayer-funded ark behind them in the distance there. That doesn't even fit on the fucking screen, bitching about somehow they're being persecuted.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys. I mean, like, it's kind of on the nose, isn't it? Like,
oh, yeah.
That big boat's right there. We can see it.
Yeah.
So
100%.
I just looked it up, and in fact, it is a crime in Australia to incite violence against any particular group. So if you were to say homosexuality is a sin, I don't think that would count. So my suspicion is that it said the bit about stoning, in which case that is a violent act and would be considered hate speech in Australia.
I think he's going to mention the other one.
So, Martin, what is this? What is this saying? If you believe the Bible and you go to a church that preaches the Bible, there's no place in Australian society for you?
Well, that's exactly what it's saying. And not only that, but the state premier of the state of Victoria, where this happened, who's the equivalent of the governor of the state of Victoria in American terms, he got involved as well.
I actually have a clip of that. Let me play that clip. Let's play clip number 10.
Those views are absolutely appalling. I don't support those views. That kind of intolerance, that kind of hatred, bigotry is just wrong.
All right, so from the other side, it doesn't sound like they were just being good Christian folks, right?
Yeah.
It was not nice what was reported. And again, sorry, you have the right to go to your church and have these doctrines or whatever, but you don't have the same rights when you work for another organization.
You know what sends me about this is the self-tattling. The guy comes out and he gives a speech saying bigotry, hatred, intolerance, that stuff sucks. And these two douchebags get on and they go, he's saying Christians suck. Like, no, bro. He said intolerance, bigotry, and hatred suck. But you and you knew he was talking about you. So you substituted it for Christians. Like, ugh.
There's a meme that goes like that.
You're telling on yourself, bro.
There's a meme that goes like that uses all those words you just said, and the person replies something about why are you talking bad about Christians or something? And they said, I didn't mention the word Christian in there.
Yep.
Yeah, somebody was feeling guilty here, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's
And like,
go ahead.
Sorry. Well, like in Australia, there's laws against inciting violence to somebody. Now, if there is violence incited against people in the Bible, then that you're not allowed to say that. It's just the law, right? So it's fair enough saying, "Oh, Christians." Well, yeah, but if your book literally is inciting violence against people, then yeah, maybe you should change it, because this isn't like I don't know, year 0 anymore, year 30.
And I also got a email from Dan Phelps. That's where I got the Facebook post from. And since the ark is in the background there, Dan Phelps, who's a thorn in Ken Ham's side, we're a big fan of Dan Phelps around here. He's been on the captive desk with us a couple of times, and I often am in contact with Dan. He posted in his email, if they choose a new successor to Martyn Iles, will there be some white smoke over the ark? So there you go.
I would love nothing more than to see smoke over the ark.
Can I say, he sounds like a wimp.
Oh, fuck you, buddy.
See, there you go.
Okay. What about you?
There you are,
Yeah.
He doesn't think
What
he's a
a
wimp, I
word
can assure
caring
you.
about other
But
people.
it's true that he's a
And
bully.
he's running. That's what this is all about. It's about intimidation. It's about finding out who has a backbone and who doesn't.
Well, that's exactly right. And, he's been, that particular man in the state of Victoria has been running a campaign, really a reign of terror against Christians for a long
know.
Reign of terror. Yeah. Very much like the French Revolution.
Yeah, well, it goes on and on like this, and I'm pretty sure he mentions
time. He's
the
introduced
Israel
laws there,
thing.
what they call conversion suppression practices laws in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Victoria.
Yeah,
that was
conversion.
Victoria.
Yeah, there you go. He wants conversion therapy, which has been known to be just awful. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hating people for not being heterosexual and not being Christian and not being exactly the demography you want them to be makes you a wimp, then I'm a fucking wimp, dude. I'm a limp-wristed wimp over here. Although I bet I would kick both of your asses.
There you go.
Well, they're awful people. They're bullies.
Yeah.
Oh, it reminds me of the Bruno interview with the gay conversion
Yes.
counselor, where he
Yeah.
goes and he goes, "I've been thinking of trying heterosexuality. what do I need to do?"
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like it. Let me see.
Like
Here.
it's a choice. I love it.
I had enough look at those horrible people, anyways.
Am I allowed to say that I could kick somebody's ass on YouTube, or am I going to get you in trouble?
No, I think that's. I don't know. I say worse than that.
In Minecraft.
You can say you
yeah,
can
yeah.
as long as you don't say you will.
Yeah, there we go.
In Minecraft.
For sure.
Okay. Let me get rid of this one and share this. Okay. There we go. And like I said, I didn't do anything. I popped the thing up, and of course, like I said earlier, what's in the background, but the LGBTQ flag there, right? And I didn't pick this. I didn't scroll for this, right? There it is, right on top. And if you look around, there's plenty of them. That's what
channel is that?
This is Martyn Iles' channel.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, he's got, man, his videos are just infuriating. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then there's in the middle there, the guy with the beard there, he in the purple shirt, he's got that's Vody, and Vody is awful. Vody wants women kept at home until their suitors come and take them away, and he's a guest speaker with Ken Ham there, and of course Martin's got him,
Of course.
highlighted there on his page, and of course all the creation stuff. Of course, I don't know if he's still going to have all that coming up here, but yeah, you see the Babylon theme a lot with him.
He thinks this
wrath.
Babylon bullshit. It really drives me crazy. It's like, man, we're just falling apart. Our moral fiber is falling apart. No, it's not.
Again, you see the flags in the background, right? Flags in the background. Flags in the background. I know he's got a lot of them.
My dude is thinking about gay sex a lot.
Yep.
I was gonna say he's got more videos with that flag than channels.
Yeah.
There's another one. It's a reoccurring theme on here. Martin's awful, and he's in the Hellfire crowd. He's all about the Babylon and the wrath of Babylon, and this is what's happening in society now is Babylon, and a big part of that, of course, is LGBTQ folks. So that's Martin. Just wanted to show that real quick. That popping right on. Sure enough, there's a flag as soon as you pop on.
Yeah, on an average day, I think about gay sex approximately 0 times. Primarily because I am not myself a homosexual man, and I don't give a fuck what other people do on their own spare time as long as they're not fucking hurting anybody. So the fact that these guys think about gay sex so very, very much, it seems really, really weird to me.
Yeah. Yeah, as a heterosexual, I can absolutely guarantee you that I could not choose to be homosexual.
Right.
So I don't think that homosexuals choose to be homosexual.
And I notice they're always concerned about gay men. They're like so
Yeah.
upset about gay men. They don't seem to care very much if you're a lesbian. Like, if you want to be a gay woman, they don't really. For some reason, their vitriol is more directed at gay men than at gay women, and I think it's because they see being homosexual as basically you're a failed man. You know, you have failed masculinity by wanting to bang other dudes, and it's peculiar to me because I think I don't know. This might be a weird thought, but I think banging another dude is actually pretty manly. Like, is that?
Total
Am I alone on that one?
Yeah, that's total
You're
man.
so manly, you don't even
there
want to
is-
have women around for sex.
There is some discussion about the Bible thing that it's the submissive one that's the sinner. It's not the
Right,
one
yeah. Yeah.
So right.
I mean, the Spartans, they were like the most manly dudes around, and they would, kiss their homies and everything. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's okay if you're a giver, but it's not okay if you're the taker.
I remember some angels that were sent to a city for that purpose.
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, they do. And if you follow anything, of course, Joe and I covered Ken Ham a lot, and we know that, they are awful bigots over there. They say a lot of awful things about the LGBTQ community, and then at the same time, they don't think they should have to take any flack back about it. Otherwise, it's persecution. It's like, no, that's
you mean
the way
no
it
reign
goes.
of terror?
Yeah, you can say something stupid, and I can say, hey, that's stupid. Okay, but they don't want to hear it back. And again, that's part of the problem with Martyn Iles, is that he takes on these cases that are controversial, that are basically people, but they violated their contract, or they didn't read the fine print, or a company just doesn't want to associate themselves with a certain church, and then they say, oh, they're violating my rights. It's like, no, you have every right to go to your church. You do not have the right for a company to be associated with it, or with what you do on social media, like this Israel guy did, or anything else. When it's in a contract, and especially with lawyers and everything, they should know more than anybody. When you sign a contract that says you can't do these things if you get and expect to get a paycheck, then you're kind of out of luck. And Martyn Iles takes exactly those on, and that's the ones that give lawyers a bad name. Go ahead, Joe.
So they say that the guy that says that he doesn't agree with bigotry and hate and all that stuff, they said that was a reign of terror in Australia.
Oh yeah.
They're really not gonna like the ideas of the people that come to the protest this year. I don't think.
No.
I don't know what hyperbolic term we'll get, but if that's a reign of terror, I guess we're bringing hell itself down there.
Right. Wait until they hear about the kind of things that this guy Jesus preached about. Man. That dude was like the wokest. He was all about loving everybody, no matter, what they are, whether they're a sinner or not, loving your enemy and turning the other cheek. I don't really think that they actually prioritize Jesus that high in their attitudes about the world. I think their attitudes are shaped more by aggrieved, white, wealthy, male conservatism than they are by Christ or Christianity. They don't even seem to like Christ more than they like other sources like Paul. They love Paul because Paul was like, yeah, no, be an asshole to people who are sinners. Be an asshole to people who are different from you. Be vengeful to your enemies. And they were like, oh, I like this guy. This motherfucker spit. Jesus was like, turn the other cheek. Love your enemy. And they're like, oh, what a wimp.
Yeah, the fig trees beg to differ.
Yeah. There is a
Stop
story
the
about.
stupidity. Hello. And hello, AR and GO. How you doing, GO? Good to see you. And Ryan, by stopping through. Yeah, we're just celebrating a small victory that Martyn Iles is no longer working for Ken Ham and AIG, and that it obviously he's not going away. AIG's not going away. However, AIG's purse strings connected to Martyn Iles seem to have gone away. And hopefully, because Martyn doesn't have the best reputation, hopefully he won't find another deep pocket like Ken Ham to fund him, and he'll have to go disappear somewhere. That would be the best outcome for this. However, the question also still comes up then, who is Ken Ham going to look for next, right? Could it be somebody worse? Yeah. I don't know. Dr. Joel was talking about it, and I think Joe and I were talking about it before, that a lot of people got skipped when he brought in Martyn Iles. So is he, going to skip everybody again and, go find somebody somewhere else? I don't know. Mike, what do you think?
I was distracted. I'm sorry, Dave. But
No, I'm just saying. What do you think? He's got to replace him. And he already skipped over everybody in house before. So
yeah,
I got a feeling this time. Yeah,
I don't know. I got a feeling he's going to wait a while on this one and think it more carefully. So we're looking at about a 6-month time frame, maybe to replace him. So
yeah, because this has been going on almost a good year and a half or so.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think
it was a waste of time and money. Yeah.
He got his fingers burnt on this one, and I got a feeling he's going to be a little careful with the next one.
What I got from that earlier thing when he introduced that Martyn guy was that he said, "Oh, you were recommended by a pastor in Australia."
Oh,
and
no.
so I think that's where the burn came. Somebody went, "Oh, you should check this guy out," trying to impress Ken Ham. And he went, "Oh, well, okay, you're a Christian, wouldn't lie, okay."
Yeah, I think Martyn Iles' claim to fame is raising money, and that's how he got famous, basically. And maybe he failed to do it with AIG too. I don't know, not sure.
I understand. Martyn's claim to fame is failing.
Oh, you're really muffled, Austin. Muffled. Yeah, you're muffled.
Oh no.
Okay. Sounds like you're in the bottom of a glass of Kool-Aid or something.
Yeah, so I think in Australia, things are, they're like 20 years behind the US. So if you imagine how creationism was, when they were trying to get it taught in schools and things 20 years ago.
Yep.
And you're probably like, that's how Australia is, especially in somewhere like Victoria. So there is this kind of cachet for being, for standing up as a right-wing Christian bigot for the fundamentalists, right?
Why creationism isn't a big thing in the UK, is it?
Well, it's becoming more. I mean, it's not.
Okay.
But it is becoming more. I mean, like
it is in Australia.
Well, in some states in Australia, it is. Yeah. I mean, Australia is still like over 50% non-religious.
Yeah. I wonder what makes a country susceptible to that. I don't know.
Well, I think I was just going to say, up to now, the UK's defence has always been, well, we have a state-sponsored church, which is the Church of England, what is called, the Sweet Church of Mediocrity. for a reason, because it literally tries to take everybody's viewpoint and cram it into one book, or one doctrine. And so that's kind of protected us. But in the last 30 years, I would say, the attendance tendency of Anglican churches has just dropped through the floor, to the point now where it's down to single digit percentages on a regular basis, right? It's like 4% of the UK regularly go to Anglican churches. It's very, very low. Might be higher than that, Mike. I'm just guessing to somewhat. But not a lot higher. It's still going to be 10% or whatever. And then, that dramatically rises when you include Christmas.
Well, when you look at when you look at the polls in the United States, the church attendance is dropping. But when you look at the media, or at least the view that I'm getting of the media, this creationism bullshit is rising, right?
Yeah.
So it's like their media presence is much bigger than their reality, which is kind of scary.
There's also another thing which was demonstrated by the Catholic Church, which is that when the kind of benevolent church, or churches tend to start losing people, then Christians have a reaction. Those that still want to be Christians have a reaction against that.
They get louder.
And they themselves become more fundamentalist. And this happened with the Catholic Church after John Paul II died. The next pope up was much more fundamentalist, and he decided to take the Catholic Church down this route of homosexuality is a sin, whereas John Paul had been very lenient on that issue, and also John Paul had been lenient on condoms. So in order to try and appeal and try and save or slow the decline of the church, the leaders decide to become more rigid to doctrine, I think. And that's why fundamentalism and creationism starts appealing.
It's weird how much. Am I still muffled?
A little bit, but a little better. Try.
I was just going to say, it's weird how much God seems to be focused on the tips of men's dicks. He doesn't want you to put a piece of plastic on the tip of your dick. He doesn't want you to leave your foreskin on the tip of your dick. Like, what is up with that?
Yeah, and I'm really, really obsessed with dicks. The whole thing, every time a Christian says something about sin, the sin they're thinking about has something to do with sex. And it's just always on their minds. They're just kind of pervs. I don't know.
Yeah, they're real obsessed with fucking.
Well, and sad to say, almost on a daily basis, we're hearing, like Mike was talking about earlier, the very ones that are running their mouths are the ones that are getting busted for inappropriate behavior.
Yep.
Well, there's also another interesting sociological point to make on this, which is that one of the issues is in the church, I think, is patriarchy. And I think because it's such a male-dominated religion and has been for thousands of years, they really like to control women's bodies, not just men's penises, but they don't want women to have a sexual nature. The ideal woman is a virgin that hasn't had sex.
Yeah, women to them are like currency.
Yeah, a woman that's had a baby but hasn't had sex. That's their ideal woman. So that's fairly unrealistic, right? But it just means, of course, that what it just so happens that sociologically, that is one of the best ways to keep women down, is to control their sexuality and control the reproductive system. When you take away women's ability to control their own pregnancies, of course, they choose to have less children. And this is a big problem for Christians, right? Because they realize that the only way to get new converts to their religion is to have kids and indoctrinate people as kids. And even then, a low percentage stay there. So, that's why I feel they get so hung up on this point about women's pregnancies, etc., or women's bodies, because they know that their religion will die without it.
Well, that's another one of Ken Ham's big issues is abortion, and he has a
Population, too.
big display in his creation museum where it's what do you call, like a visible thing, right, where you see all the development of a baby in the womb and all that kind of thing. And then of course there's the dark corner of evil and the hellfire thing, right? So that's another one of his big issues. And again, a lot of money. And Ken Ham not only has a lot of money, he makes friends with politicians, doesn't he, Joe? Or wait, Joe's not here anymore. Yeah, Joe would know too that he makes friends with a lot of politicians. He has a lot of them at the Ark. He knows how to make connections. And again, I'm hoping that Martyn Iles is losing all that with not being associated with Ken Ham anymore.
Yep.
And otherwise,
Yeah, I'm having a lot of technical difficulties here. Is my mic sounding better?
you sound okay now.
Okay,
Really, really good now. Yeah.
okay, good. Yeah, I was gonna say Martin doesn't strike me as the kind of fellow who would just be like, "Oh, that's okay, Kenny boy. We'll still be cool after this." I'm guessing that getting fired, he is like fully burning the bridge there. I doubt he's going to benefit much from any relationship with Ken Ham from here on out.
And it'll be interesting to see how this education thing pans out, because they will be competing for the same dollar. And,
Yeah.
I don't think AIG is going to appreciate that.
No, probably not. But what I was trying to say before when my mic was failing is that Martin is, I think what he's best known for is raising money and doing a lot of activism, and all of that fundraising and activism ultimately ending up being pointless. Like he rallied against making clinics that offer abortion, basically a safe zone where women aren't going to be getting screamed at by a bunch of unhinged nutjob assholes on their way in. And that failed. He didn't manage to get, that prevented. I think he tried to raise a bunch of money and do a bunch of activism to make gay conversion therapy still a thing in Australia, and that also failed. They outlawed that, and it's not allowed anymore. So, like, he's done all of these things, and yeah, he raised money for them, and he got people on his side, but ultimately he has failed most of those fights, which is great.
He's good at making
a nicer guy.
Yeah, he's good. Like I said, yeah, he's good at making a stink, and he's good at doing all the things that give lawyers a bad name.
Yeah.
And he takes great pride in it too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But once again, and again, it doesn't mean the end of either one of them, even though they're
unfortunately, yeah.
The wave didn't come along and take them away or anything like that. In Minecraft. But once again, though, I'm celebrating that he's losing the connection with Ken Ham's money and his connections that he has. Now, of course, he might have made connections while he's been hanging around with Ken Ham, but I don't think Ken Ham's going to continue to finance him if he's not working there anymore. So, small victory there. Again, though, who's he going to bring in is still the question. Once again, he skipped over the son-in-law. He skipped over Calvin, the other bad dresser in Canada.
Yeah.
He skipped over, I think his name is Simon or something, in the UK branch. And I'm hoping also, maybe another little bit of good news is that Martyn Iles and Ken Ham were supposedly teaming up on opening up more branches of Answers in Genesis in Australia. And maybe that will also be side railed as well with their separation. So, because he was, what I understood was leading up on opening up more branches in Australia, and that was going to be part of Martin's job, so to speak, to expand the ministry or whatever he wants to call it.
Yeah, I picture it kind of being like a little bit like a divorce. Like if you've ever been through a divorce, you know that both people in that divorce are going to lose friends. Some of your friends are going to choose your spouse over you, and I think in this particular divorce, almost all of those friends are going to be choosing Ken Ham because Answers in Genesis is huge. Martyn Iles, not so much.
Yeah, and he's once again, it seems Martin is the common denominator. He has fallings out, as it were, with people, and it seems that the whole 6 weeks, I think it was, of silence was something happened. Like something happened, he walked out type thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just all of a sudden out of the blue, what happened, right? And I don't think we're ever really going to find out because it was probably something personal between Ken Ham and Martyn Iles.
Well, somebody should search the arrest records for solicitation and all that to see if.
It would be so spot on if that was what
that
happened,
would be great.
right? Because it happens over and over again. These super anti-gay politicians getting caught trying to hook up with other men in airport bathrooms or truck stops or what have you.
AR thinks he committed a sin against Ken.
Yeah.
That bathroom hookup thing was another Minnesota senator, I think. I can't remember. That was a while ago, but that was famously at the airport in Minneapolis here. So.
Yeah, and apparently the way it works is if you're looking for a gay hookup, you just put your foot under the bathroom stall, which is a bold thing. Like, bro, don't assume I want to bang you just because my foot. Like, maybe I'm just making room for somebody who's walking past me. I could see how that signal could get misinterpreted.
Right.
Like, let's just be more direct. Hey, man, would you like to have some gay sex with me? Let's be clear. It seems like
I think it's the toe tapping that comes back, right?
Oh, okay.
You start.
There's another element to it. Okay, I didn't know. I thought it was just you just stick the foot under there.
But if they hit your foot,
I'm not up on it. Forgive me.
If they hit your foot with a hammer,
I didn't know that, Dave.
If they hit your foot with a hammer, that means no. So.
Little footsie under the wall. See, that's another reason them walls should go all the way down.
I know, floor to ceiling, man. Solve a lot of problems.
So so we wanted to cover this because it's breaking news, so to speak, and because I really can't stand Ken Ham, nor can I stand Martyn Iles at all. And when Ken Ham brought him in, I was really concerned because of his awful bigoted views, and there's always the hope that maybe somebody would come in that would be a little more progressive. Of course, that's asking for a lot from AIG, but he clearly was going for somebody that was awful in Martyn Iles. So who's he going to choose from now? I guess we'll find out. Mike thinks he's gonna maybe take a little while. Of course, once again, I think he was kind of looking, maybe to retire a little bit. Ken Ham Well, he is a hustler, right? And he's been hustling this thing for a long time, right?
He's still
And-
writing blogs every day, though.
Yeah. but
Every day.
You know, maybe he wanted a little more free time and everything, and now, I mean, he's right back in charge again, and all the plans are out the window. He's got to start from scratch. The last 2 years were a big waste of time and resources and reorganization and everything else that went on over there, and I'm sure there's still hurt feelings because he didn't promote from within, so I don't think that he's, going to change that. He's probably going to go look for, unfortunately, probably a hate preacher or something. So
Yep.
Maybe not. Maybe he's learned his lesson from this. If the reason he cut him loose was like bad
I'm hoping.
PR or something.
maybe this will be the thing that maybe he'll say, maybe I should get somebody that's a little more. I don't want to use the term progressive. I mean, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit better.
Little less stick up the ass.
Yeah, less of a douchebag.
Hey,
shorter
Jester.
stick.
Yeah,
Shorter
we're
stick.
covering Martyn Iles has parted ways with Answers in Genesis. He was brought in basically as number 2 to take over for Ken Ham, because Ken Ham said it himself. I think he's a great grandfather now or something. He's in his 70s.
Yeah, it's really old.
If
Man.
not just retirement, who's going to take over, when that day comes and all that kind of stuff, right? He's trying to, bring in somebody that was younger to, take the reins when he steps aside. And that all got messed up. I found something, supposedly he's been quiet for like 6 weeks. I found some, it was a couple days ago where it was announced, and Mike found an article as well, and Dr. Joel was covering it like just last night, and of course it's breaking news this morning. I think, was it you, Mike, that sent the message?
No, that was, I think, Scott.
Was it Scott? Okay.
Scott
Sent the message this morning, break up at AIG.
Yeah.
And haha, Martyn Iles, I can't stand you.
I'm glad he's gone. Yeah, glad he's gone.
Right, I hope you lost a really easy gig and all that money once again, just like you did when you started your own law firm, and it seemed to go down the tubes as well. I'm hoping the same for you in your future endeavors.
It's funny how often that happens, Dave, because like every time an evangelical tries to start a company based around anything other than just preaching evangelism, it just seems to go tits up so fast. Like, you start a law firm based on evangelism, it goes tits up. You start an oil company based on young earth creationism, it goes tits up. Like, it's almost like your ideas just aren't useful in practice. I mean, far be it from me to, try to critique your worldview, but the data seems fairly conclusive on that matter, personally, from my perspective.
Yeah, what would you say if they started an evangelical bra firm, Austin?
You know what?
Would you say that would go tits up as well?
If anybody can fuck something like that up, it's the evangelicals.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, look at Mike Pillow. I mean, he had a successful little thing going. He screwed that all up.
Another wonderful Minnesotan.
Either that, or it would be the most successful, like, both brothel and church of all time. Because people go and they sit in the church and they get so bored and horny from all the stories, so they go over to the brothel and they get some mass, and then they feel bad for sinning, so they go back to the church to
Minecraft.
Soothe their guilt over sinning, and then it's just a vicious circle,
That Minecraft is a crazy game, isn't it?
Oh, it's wild.
And again, I'm celebrating. I've got my thing up here and there and everywhere. Na 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 na, na 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 na. Hey hey hey, goodbye.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I'm taking what joy I can out of something that happened to Martyn Iles, parting ways with Ken Ham, because mainly that, yeah, they aren't going away, but Ken Ham has a lot of money, and hopefully Martin's out of luck and no money.
So sad.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten to say this before, but good job, Ken.
You couldn't,
good job.
couldn't
Yeah,
happen
exactly.
couldn't happen to a slimier, bigoted lawyer, an awful human being. He promotes awful ideals, and that's why Ken Ham liked him. Not giving Ken Ham a pass in any way. He's awful as well.
Fair
I
enough.
was worried that bringing in Martyn Iles was going to be maybe worse, just because he's a slimer. He's the bottom of the barrel, dumpster juice on a hot day slimer. Okay, he just is. He's so smug with his little awful suit and not matching tie and everything else that just irritates us as well.
Yeah. I almost want to caution us not to be too happy or optimistic, because maybe Ken booted him because he thinks he's not hateful and
Enough,
extreme
right.
enough, and
It
he's
is
going to get somebody even worse.
It's the possibility. It is the possibility. But for today,
Right.
a awful bigot has his purse strings cut. So for right now, we're going to celebrate that for what it's worth.
That's
and
fair.
if nothing else, it'll delay any of their ambitions they had, because Martin was again supposed to head up a new, a new path forward, because Ken Ham had basically said, look, we've answered all the creationist stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
They've got plenty of videos, right?
They proved evolution's wrong.
Right. And their direction ahead was social issues, which again, Ken Ham's big issues are women's reproduction and LGBTQ, right? With a new media studio and media company, so to speak, whatever you want to call it, in the new building they have. So they have money, a dedicated area, and if you've followed Ken Ham over the years, you can see how their video qualities get better and better and better. And anybody that does any of that knows takes a lot of money to start buying all the fancy microphones, the fancy cameras, etc. Right? So they're going to get even better. And the idea was putting out social issues, so to speak, videos targeting kids with exactly those ideologies we just mentioned.
So they're still going to be pushing pseudoscience and science denial and all of that horrific, awful stuff that nobody needs. But they're pivoting to do more culture war bullshit. They're pivoting to being more anti-trans. Like and you can already see it if you go to their website. There's like more and more of their front page, and the articles being published are about the war on Christianity and divorce and pornography and homosexuals and transsexuals and all the stuff that secretly gives them a stiffy, but then they have to virtue signal to their Christian buddies that naturally I hate this, and then and if you go and you look up the statistics, pornography, gay pornography, divorce, all of that stuff is highest in red states, in all the areas that have the highest number of evangelicals. So it's kind of ironic.
Teen pregnancy is highest, and those it's pretty amazing. Yep.
The Bible Belt is also the teen pregnancy belt and the divorce belt and the gay porn belt. and all that stuff.
That's why I say, and you said it, and Hitchens famously said it too. Whenever you hear one of these big mouths running on about something, I don't want to say the word here, but same-sex relations, mark it down, right?
Right.
Mark it down, because sooner or later, yeah, they're going to be busted, just like so many others. And this is not. I don't care what you do, okay? You're the ones like this CPAC guy that just got in trouble again, right?
Yeah.
You're on stage stirring people up. Some of these people might go out and act, and harm other people.
Yeah.
Or you're stirring up the politicians to do things, all these things. And the whole time you're on stage doing this, you're thinking, I can't wait to get off stage because I'm going to go chase some guys.
Yeah. And they can't do it publicly, so they have to go to the darker, seedier side of sex, right? And basically that's why they get busted all the time.
So it's just so disgusting, because I was talking about it. I think with my wife or somebody, we were discussing it, that let's say you're going to go out on a date, right? And the ladies would know, you shave your legs and everything because just maybe, right? And the guys know maybe you spend a few minutes in the shower, extra minutes in the shower, grooming, all that kind of stuff, because maybe, right? So what you're thinking about it, right? Hey, I'm gonna go out tonight and might be a good night, right? That's what this guy's thinking the whole time.
Yeah.
He's up there preaching all this awful stuff, and CPAC has a lot of money and a lot of power in politics, preaching, stirring people up how awful gay people are. And the whole time it's got to be rolling in his head, as soon as I get off the stage, I'm going to go get me some.
Yeah.
It's like, how awful can you be? And it's not that I don't,
Very
obviously if
hypocritical.
he's cheating on his wife or whatever, that's wrong. But if if he was single and he wanted to go get some, I don't care, right? But how dare you, cause people direct harm when you want to do the exact same thing, right? And you don't want anybody, but again, they said the first time or however many times that the quote, it had been all cleared up or dismissed or whatever. No, he paid him off. Okay. And since then, more people have come forward, and now another one comes forward. And this guy's got the orange man mentality where he thinks he can just walk up to other guys and grab them. Just do as he please. And I mean, I'm sorry, man, but if you come up and grab me, you're going to have a problem. I don't care. I don't care who you are, right? Like Austin said, right? We're gonna have a situation, right? So yeah, this mentality, they can just do whatever they want, and at the same time, the awful things they say. It's like how can you even do that? With a straight face or without the lightning bolt coming down, taking you out, right? So it's just, I don't know.
Neat.
I just can't find the words for how disgusting that CPAC guy makes me feel.
Yeah.
It's just. All right. Any final digs on Martyn Iles?
No. Good riddance.
Good riddance.
Yep.
Once again, Joe, the Kentucky Atheist, is heading up the ARC protest this year. Because of what he promotes and people he hires, and
have they gotten
who
to
knows
the
who
point?
he's going to hire next, right?
Do they have a website for that, or have they gotten to the point where they can tell you where hotels are and things like that?
I'm not sure. I wish Joe was still here.
I'm scared to death to go to Kentucky. I don't know.
Well, they are working on getting like a block of rooms or something like that at a rate or something, and yeah, they're working on all that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll find Joe's keeping me updated on everything, and I'll pass along everything on Saturdays, and I always put the link and everything for anything so people can go get a hold of Joe over there and find out.
Yeah. It's so close to the 4th, it's going to be difficult for me to do this, but I'm going to try.
Yeah, with the 4th, looks like it's going to be on a Friday because this is on Sunday the 6th. So,
Yeah, it's 2 days after. Yeah, so you got to fly out
one-
on Saturday, which is a problem, I think, for prices.
well, I think it was Jess was saying that they checked and it doesn't look like the Reds are playing at home. So Cincinnati should not be jammed up the weekend for a ball game, at least.
You mean the commies? The Reds?
My final thoughts on Martyn Iles would be some kind of call to action, although I'm not sure exactly what kind of. My first thought is make some kind of social media posts. Express that you are happy that Answers in Genesis got rid of this guy.
Oh, we
Do
could
what
send
you
them
can
thank
to
you
make
notes.
sure that the impression that people are in favor of Ken Ham cutting this guy loose somehow reaches Ken Ham, and he hears that this has improved the optics of his company,
Right.
because that might influence him to pick somebody who's less of an asshole for his replacement.
It could be, yeah.
But I got to get going, guys.
Okay.
It's great
I do
that this
too.
guy got beaten. He got cut out of AIG. I hope it does indeed reduce his reach and it reduces his efficacy as an apologist and a hate activist. That's awesome. So it is a good day.
And I can't believe that somebody that had control of $100 million for a funding project dresses that badly. I can't believe it.
I don't know. It's something with maybe it's just something creationists have bad taste or something.
$100 million. And he can't pick a coordinated outfit.
He
Do
wasn't
you know what that
skimming
says
right.
to me? He's got no gay friends. That's what that says to me.
There you go.
Right.
There's a meme about Georgia Purdom who had what you would call a Buster Brown haircut for a long time. Yeah, you can tell she doesn't have any gay friends by that hair. Oh my gosh, look at that hair.
Georgia. Oh my God.
Yeah, and Georgia's another one. She got skipped. Of course, she is a she.
You can't have women in charge of the church.
I
right?
doubt it's going to be a woman. Yeah,
Doubtful.
very, very doubtful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And otherwise, Mike is going to be busy this Saturday. So anybody else wants to fill his seat Saturday, you're welcome to join us. We're going to look at a guy that's found a little numbers fun in the Bible. It's not a very long video, so I found a couple others and we might look at. One guy sees things in VWs and everything that I guess they're all symbols of something. So
I did a video, a short, on numbers in the Bible. It's the guy that did a sermon on numbers in the Bible. So I'll bring that along and you can play that as well.
Are they going to explain 666? Because I've never understood that.
No, I've got this one is doing 7, and I've got a couple others to look at. The main one is this guy. It just caught me because of his attitude that this just can't be a coincidence. Look, if you add this and subtract this and multiply this, you get 7. I mean, that's just not a coincidence, Yeah, but bring that along, Simos. We're gonna have
I've stuck it in private chat now for you, so you can check it out first. And if you want to play it, you can download it and put it on your thing.
We're gonna have a little numbers thing because we haven't really looked at it. Oh yeah, I looked at this guy. The Doors that's the Doors guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I seen his videos looking around. Yeah,
Well, and that's only a 30-second clip I did. I did as a kind of a piss take, really.
The only reason I didn't download it was because he's got a lot of subscribers, and usually I like to pick for the ones that got smaller channels and stuff. But the guy that the main video I wanted to look at, he mentions this other guy, and I was thinking about looking at his stuff a little bit, just because. But again, he's got like 90,000 subscribers, and he's only got a couple videos talking about this number stuff. So it fascinates a lot of people, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
but Mike's gonna go have dinner with his boys for their birthday, so Mike's gonna be busy Saturday.
Yeah, my twins are turning 44 on Saturday.
Happy birthday to him.
Yep. Happy Hamilton Day.
Have a good time
Formula
with
One.
your steaks or whatever you're gonna go celebrate.
The Melting Pot. It's a fondue place. Have you ever been to
okay.
one? It's unbelievable. Anyway, going to be good. Now the creationists know where they can find me to assassinate me.
Wow.
And everybody that joined us in chat, appreciate Greg. Hello. Everybody joining in. Let's celebrate small victories. Take it for what it is. I know there's still a lot of issues with these awful people out there, but I'm taking great joy that Martyn Iles got fired, and the purse strings are cut because Ken Ham does have a lot of money and power, and Martyn Iles doesn't have it anymore. So for what it is, small victory. Screw you, Martyn Iles. You're an awful person, and you got what was coming to you.
I always get a little giddy inside when the Christians fight with each other. I gotta admit.
You did bring us a little bit of joy from your amidst all your awfulness over there.
Right.
We are having a good laugh at your
having a good
expense.
time.
So
Mike,
once again, ha 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 in the background. Okay?
Mike, you would have loved the 30 Years' War in Europe. Oh,
yeah,
we laughed.
yeah.
Oh, we laughed.
Yeah,
Okay,
cool.
yes.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, I got to get out of here,
All right.
guys.
Yeah, we're gonna get out of
leaving.
here, and
I'm
I
leaving.
think Slim might be doing Bigfoot today, so I think I might go check out Slim Cyborg at about 5:30, I think. So, if you guys are out and about or whatever, stop by over at Slim's channel. Otherwise, Simos, what's next with you on the racing schedule?
Next we're in China this weekend.
All right.
So on Monday night, 9 o'clock UK time, we'll be doing the review. Anybody stops by, thank you very much, Dave, for stopping by and giving a like. Really does help.
It was a pleasure.
Always appreciate that. Anybody out there that likes Formula One, please sub to my channel and come by. We entertain all the questions and chats and stuff. So we
And
engage with chat.
Simos often joins us on Saturday nights too for Saturday Night at the Atheists. And again, we're going to look at a little numbers fun in the Bible this weekend, so we should have a good time doing that. And
this one's going to be great.
Yeah, come join us. We'll have maybe you'll have a revelation and you'll figure it all out. Maybe we'll figure it all out. Who knows? With that, have a good one. And thank you, everybody, for joining us, including everybody on the panel.
Tales of lore knocking at the captive dash's door. Legends live within these walls, silent echoes in the halls, books and stories on the floor, knocking at the captive dash's door. Captive desk, hold our dreams, where reality and no myth seems silent echoes in the halls, books and stories on the floor, knocking